What's up, Photo Booth family? Welcome to the best Photo Booth podcast. When I say best, I'm not talking camera quality, so you can tell this is Timu quality, but the information here is always good, always real, always authentic. We have Tyler over here, Hans right below me. What's up, fellas? How are you guys? Let's do an update. It's been a long time since we've done a podcast just with the crew. How are you guys?
Good, man. I'm excited. I received that dream booth finally, and I finally have it set up and ready to go. I set it up a couple days ago. Had a couple problems trying to, set up the camera, but I figured out that the little dongle that I got was messed up, and I switched it, and it was good. So, um, uh, you know, just got it right now. It's already booked for this weekend. Um, at some event. So I want to try it out, take a couple of pictures, put it on my Instagram, flex.
Little DSLR booth action finally.
Yeah.
Love it. What about you, Tyler? What's up, man?
Same thing, man. Just DJ, photo booth, all that stuff. Been busy, man. A lot of events throughout the January, February, which is a blessing because it's usually slow for most people in January, February, but for us it was the complete opposite. So, got to connect with a lot of new people and a lot of new event planners. I actually got connected with two event planners now, so they're helping me get a ton of leads right now, especially for the summer. They have a lot of stuff planned out for the summer, so it's gonna be fun.
We I was thinking today maybe we could just bring it back to the basics. Dude, Tyler, I don't know why I just saw the lighter right now. I was like, bro's about to start smoking on the
No,
on the
I'm
podcast.
just playing. I'm just playing around with it.
Um, no, let's just bring it back to the basics, man. Let's do this video on this podcast. Maybe some advice that we would give our day one versions of ourselves back to the photo booth business, like things that we've all learned in our tenure of being like photo booth owners. Is there anything that comes to mind? Is there like one thing that you, if you could go in a time machine, like what would be the first thing you would tell the newbie photo booth owner that would be you?
Um, use especially now that it's been advanced so well. Use like Chat AI or whatever, Chat GPT AI to kind of help you like brainstorm like little things for like the descriptions or for your Instagram posts. Like how you put something, but they always want a description or some info. I've noticed that AI really helps you like clean it up and make it look good, and it even puts emojis to try to like catch people's eyes. So that's what I would tell myself is like save yourself some time, and don't bust yourself over trying to make the best description and use technology to your advantage.
Love that.
Yeah. I think one thing I would tell myself, which I was pretty good at in the beginning, but definitely could have been better, is be more consistent with my posts and stuff. In the beginning, I was posting maybe once, twice a week, just to keep it moving, just to keep the Instagram full. Definitely have my content, where it was a couple scrolls, but now, being 2.5 years into my own personal business is like I post like 3 times a day now. Like it's like I have that set. Like my mind is like I don't care what it is. I even like tell other people like my friend Carol Josh, who runs their 360 company business, I tell them like all the time, like, you have your post already, share it, put it on your story. And she actually had told me the other day, she's like, but I feel like I'm kind of like just repeating myself over and over posting. And I'm like, it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, there's always a new face on your page looking at your stuff. So maybe they didn't see that before. So all the time, I know you guys probably see it. I literally just share the same stuff over and over and over and over. And I just share it on my story. My thing now is I always like to keep my story full. There should be no reason why that story, that little bubble that Instagram has, is empty or Facebook. Like I feel like that bubble should always be full with something. Whether it's a promotion you're doing, whether it's hey, I have a photo booth, just something on there that shows your bubble in the front of Instagram all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's worked. It's worked for us.
It's a reminder, it's about people being refreshed and reminded, oh, like there's a company that can offer all of these services, right? Like it could be the dumbest post too. That could be the reason why someone books with you. Maybe just one day they're on their lunch break and they're like, oh, I'm going to start planning for the wedding tomorrow. And boom, here you go, Tyler posting a video he's posted 10 times. So I love that strategy, bro, the volume.
Yeah.
But for me, the most important thing that I would tell day one photo booth owner, me, like the first time I had the chance, I'd go back and I'd say, focus more on Google SEO. Like and that tied into also like network, build the relationships sooner, because like that would have made like the whole process so much easier. Like back in the day, I didn't network at all. When I first started, I was just honestly, guys, I'm not joking. Craigslist for 2 years straight. All I did is post on Craigslist. I didn't network. I didn't run any ads. I wasn't posting on social media. I didn't have anything. I just had 10 Craigslist accounts. So like I found out pretty quickly that that wasn't like something that was long term. And now looking back at it, like I think for the last 5 years, I've been going really heavy on like networking. And we have like a venue that we're working with. And my new strategy for the venues is to try to convince them for us to be in their top tier package. So like venues have packages like package one, you get this, and then the top one, it includes the DJ, it includes all of that. That's what we're aiming for. And that's what I would tell the younger version of myself would be like focus more on the relationships and then the Google SEO. It blows,
Absolutely.
bro, it blows my mind how many photo booth owners don't have websites and they think that like they don't understand the whole complexity of like what a website can bring. I've been pressuring everyone like get the website, work on the Google SEO, and like if you don't know how to do it, reach out to Art or reach out to like a freelancer in like India, right? That can work on your Google SEO. Yeah. So that would be my advice. Let's shift gears here too. Like what were some of the biggest mistakes you guys made? Like just being as honest as you can, and it's okay to look like a rookie. And I'll tell you guys mine too. Mine's probably super embarrassing, but yeah.
Not having a checklist, especially at the very beginning, when I was going to events and not really doing the pickups to the drop-offs. Um, I was at an event and I guess in my mind I was like, oh, I got everything because I would always take a look. But I grabbed the wrong backdrop and it had a different one and I freaked out. And so not only to have that checklist, but now I make it in my head that I need to have whatever, like if I have this backdrop that I need, like the wood one, I need to see it go into my car or my truck. Like I
Mhm,
need to physically see myself put it in there and then check it off. Because I won't check it off if it's just on the floor next to my car. I need to see it go in there.
mhm,
Because that's a mistake I did. I put the backdrop in there, but I didn't like actually make sure that it was the right one. So
So
luckily my wife saved me and
that's not bad.
let
That's
me have the
if that's your biggest L, that's not bad.
yeah, thank where's the wood? Thank God nothing's been worse than that. Not like a complete disaster where I can't print or I can't have internet, stuff like that. So
Mm,
Absolutely. I think one of mine has to definitely be like when I first started in the beginning was definitely like if we went over time, and this was only the first couple events until I like learned my lesson. I'm like, I'm not doing this no more. We would go over time, or like the party would they would only book us, let's say, from like 6 to 10, but the party was to 11. Sometimes I would see the photo booth packed and I wouldn't say anything. I would just be like, yeah, you know what, just let it just keep running. I would be scared to go up and tell these people and ask them for money. And I'm thinking to myself, bro, this is my business. Why am I gonna why I was scared to just pack up and leave because I thought that people were gonna look at me like wrong. Like, oh, this guy's just leaving. He's walking out like he don't care. And so one day I was just like, yo, I have to go up and just get my courage on, just say, hey, like, if you guys want us, on the contract, it's an extra $75, for example. I think mine now is like 100, but at the time it was like $75. And I was just so afraid because like I was intimidated of these people that, at the end of the day, I know I'm working for them in a way, but at the end of the day, they're using my stuff. That was my fear. It was more like a fear rather than like taking an L. I just would give away a lot of time for free. I think another thing that kind of ties into it was like the travel. Like I would go to events 2.5 hours away from my house, and just would charge like 199, $200 in the beginning. And I'm like, with the gas, the tolls, the expenses, the software, it really wasn't worth it at the end. So like obviously my prices have changed since then.
do me a favor. Take your head off.
Oh, you don't want me to take my hat off, bro?
I'm calling Cap. There's no way that answer you gave me is such BS. You definitely have a thing that you've done that was a big L. That was such a politically. Come on, man. Come on, come on. You,
I can't think
you
off the top of my head,
look,
bro.
let me tell you mine. Let me tell you mine. I've dropped the ball so many times. I've forgot to keep the iPad charged. I've had events where it's died literally two
Well,
hours
well,
into the
if
event.
it's something like that, I definitely agree with Hans, where Hans said that make sure you have a checklist because I've forgotten stuff too. With my DJ stuff, like going to that, there was one time I did an event last year for a cheer banquet, and I literally brought the wrong charger for the MacBook. So I brought the right wire, but I didn't bring the right cube. I brought like a cube like this, like an iPhone cube,
Mhm.
and then it was my computer was dying because I didn't have the actual like MacBook adapter.
Oh, I remember the story.
What's that?
I remember the story. Yeah,
Yeah,
you were like struggling to get it charged.
it wouldn't charge. It was on 4%. And luckily, I had time because they were doing their speeches on another projector and stuff like that. I had to drive like 30 minutes out just to go to the Apple store, make an appointment real quick to go there, grab my stuff, grab the new charger, and then come back. And luckily, I made it on time. So that
Yeah,
was definitely a huge help. But that wasn't for the photo booth. It was for my DJ stuff. So I
that
guess.
I love that. Yeah, and these are the mistakes. If you really think about it, it's such a small mistake that can have a big effect. It's usually the biggest things that like hurt are the smallest ones, right? But you guys ready? I have so many times where we've effed up. One, I've multiple times. This has happened like two times where I've forgot to plug in the iPad because I used to turn the iPad on and then set everything up, then plug everything in. But like now I have like a fail, like it's like the safety thing. So you guys feel free to adopt this. I don't turn the power button on the iPad. I never touch it. If the iPad's going to turn on, it has to turn on for me plugging it in. So that's a rule that we have now. Like, I don't want to make that a habit. Um, there was a time when, and I say it's my mistake. It's actually Monte. Monte. Uh, there was a time where we were trying to network with Los Altos High School. I know if you guys, I probably told you this story before, and that's a high school that she went to. And you guys, what's crazy? It's literally like 3 minutes from our house. But Monse like Googled the number. She called them. We were offering a free event, completely free, just so we can be the preferred vendor. And they're super excited. They're like, oh, there's this an event in 3 weeks. The kids will be so excited. The guy's like, I'm telling all the kids. She makes the template. The guy never like reviewed it, but he was like, no, don't worry, it's fine. Whatever you guys bring. We showed up the day of the event. We unload everything. We're like, hey, we're in front of the gym. They're like, oh, that's funny. So am I. And we're like, how many gyms do you guys have? They said one gym. And then Monse goes, interesting. Give us 1 second. So we go around and they're like, yeah, we don't see you. And then he goes, interesting. Did you guys take what freeway to get here? And then like we're like, uh-oh, this is the wrong Los Altos.
Yeah, I remember this
Dude.
story.
So it was another city. It was like literally like a 5-6 hour drive. And then you can hear the guy goes, sorry guys, there's not going to be a photo booth. And you hear the kids go, oh, and then
Oh,
it was the craziest thing. So yes, that was like to me that like trumps number one because I know there's like 50 kids that exist on this earth that suffer not like suffered, but like they expected a photo booth. And then we did more research on the school. It's like a small public school, not in like the best area. And that was a mistake. We made the mistake of actually putting the wrong date on a template for someone's wedding. And we found out after the wedding. Um, I've actually launched we had a day where we had like 7 drop-offs and I was in such a rush I didn't really realize which event I was launching. So there was two events going on at the same time under the same event at different parties. So like one was like a graduation, but it was under a wedding. So the gallery it was a mess, man. So we made a lot of mistakes like that. And yeah, guys, don't make those mistakes.
oh, I have another one. The a pickup one. I think I told Tyler about it. But the and this is a client that had booked already twice with me, and then she found out I had photo booths, and she's like, "Oh, you do pickups?" So she picked it up. I never sent her the link or the instructions on how to set it up. So she just launched her event, but she didn't know what she was doing. So she erased the whole template and just made it big.
Oh
And
yeah, you told me this. You told me
she
this
was just
last week.
taking pictures like if you were just pressing the iPad thing.
Yeah, we've had
You
that
know how
happen.
you told me that they just use but she actually used the software LumaBooth to send it to herself and stuff. But it was just one big picture.
Oh,
I felt so bad because I looked at the gallery and I was like, "Oh no!"
dude, that's happened to us, but you know what's crazy? I really realized the people that do the pickup booth are so much more grateful than any of our other clients. Like, where was a lady where she did what you did? or you were mentioning, she was just using the photo button. And when they dropped off the booth, bro, they were, this was amazing. We had such a good time. And I'm like, there was no template, there was no countdown. And then I'm like, interesting. And then it took me like a long time to realize it, but like they just airdropped the photos. They went to the gallery. And then yeah, man, that's wild, dude. That can even happen. Um what what are some okay, now that we're talking about the past, things we would change, mistakes that we've made, what advice would you guys give somebody like literally like let's just say someone's in this chat right now, right? We had a fourth person here and they're like, "Hey, I'm going to start my photo booth business today in today's day and age." What's the first thing you guys recommend them? And I know we're all probably have the same mindset here, but I want to hear you guys say it. But like what's like the number one thing you could do as a photo booth owner to have success like right away?
Don't be afraid to start right away. Like, don't be afraid to start right now. I know a lot of people, just from the chat itself, who starts, they buy their photo booth, they go, and then they're afraid to start the event. They're afraid to do their first event. Even people who are just interested in buying the photo booth, they say, I want to buy it, but I'm afraid to start.
Mhm.
I was definitely in that book, that bracket, but for a very short amount of time. I told myself I was going to be ready in September of 2023. My first event was June 2023 because of someone in the group who texted and gave away an event. And I'm actually grateful for that event. Because of that event, I have a tree of events that I've been doing from since 2023 all the way up to now. I actually did an event up by the Connecticut area for that same family. And this
Mhm.
is like at least the fifth event I've done for them in the last 2 years. And if it wasn't for me taking the courage to doing that one event, I would have never had those other four events after that. So you never know where you're going to start if you don't start right away.
I love that. Let me see if I can share. Okay, I can't share it. I was going to share it. I freaking love what you said. Like you can look back and see where these events came from. And I know you guys have been around long enough to where you can literally see one event and then you could say, well, this event came from this referral. This referral, I had two jobs for them. And you can really, really get a bigger perspective on like how far one event can go. And I
Yep.
feel like too, like a newbie in this business doesn't realize the power of just one event, which brings
Mm-hmm.
me to doing a free event. You
That
could do
was
Absolutely.
a
that was
free
mine,
event.
a free event.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
like, so
Because
Hans, what is your not like your takeaway, but like I know you've heard me talk about this and I know you probably have some insight. Like, what are some ways you feel like you can get a free event? I know a lot of people struggle to get a free one. So like if you were to do it, like what would be your first line of defense on like getting one?
So, I mean, my favorite way to get a free event, and that's because I did trial and error. Some free events were lame and I didn't get that much content, and some free events were great and I got a bunch of good content. And the way I navigate like free events, if I'm looking for one just because I want to grab content for something new, um, is I go and like go to like Facebook groups, go to social media, like your Instagram, whatever, and you just let it be known, like, hey, I'm looking for a candidate to throw a free event, and then you want to throw yourself into the fire of like the biggest event that you could get for free, which like people love that, and then just tell them like I need like at least 150 people. The more the better. So if you have like 200 guests, like that's great. Um, and then for me, what I put is like if you're gonna have like banda, which is like a music, music groups, live music, the crazier, the bigger, the better. And then if you're gonna have a lot of people, because a lot of people, well, at least me, a lot of people hit me up like, oh, I'm gonna have like my daughter's send this, and then they gave you a list because I told them like I need a list of what you're gonna have, and I chose the best one that I could get to get the best content. So and and for me as starting out new, like imagine like people are not gonna know that you threw that a free event. They're not gonna know that you didn't get paid. You just have the content and like wow, this guy does big events like so I think that's the best way to navigate a free event. And you shouldn't be scared. Just I know sometimes big events are kind of like intimidating, like, oh, I don't want to mess up their big day. But also it's like you gotta understand you're throwing a free event. They probably don't expect much.
Mhm.
So you just, ball out and, get grab as much content as you can.
Yeah, you can't refund free, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you could make mistakes without having, like Han said, you could make mistakes without having to worry about it too much. Because it's free. You don't have to worry about, oh well, I have to give a refund or I have to like give some money back. Obviously you're representing your company still, but I feel like if something happens to your software and it has to shut down for 15 minutes, you don't have to pay that person the 15 minutes back in the time.
Yep. Yeah. And let's just preference this too, guys. Like, not saying don't prepare for a free event. Like you guys should, everyone watching this, you should be prepared because
Oh, absolutely.
just because it's free doesn't mean that if things go wrong because you didn't practice,
Yeah.
you will still be stressed out. You're gonna have
Oh
a
yeah, absolutely.
isn't that the worst feeling in the world when like people are in line and like you can't something is going wrong? Like it's not a pleasant feeling. And I keep telling everyone, man, learn your software, you guys. For all my LumaBooth family, like go to this YouTube channel. There's videos where Hans is talking for 2 hours showing you guys LumaBooth. There's tutorials that I've done. Monse has done templates. So like learn the software, and the more you know of the software and the more you have your ear to the community, the more you're going to be able to prevent these little issues and things from happening. We see it all the time, every day, Hans and I. It's always someone is at an event, it's going wrong, and they just haven't learned or taken the time to learn the software. And it's 95% a user error, right? So yeah, that's I don't know. That's all I wanted to really talk about today. I just really wanted to go over the basics and make a freaking podcast where we're talking to the newbies and giving some insights because we are experts, right? Whether you guys want to believe it or not, you guys are making some really good money in this business, and you paid off your equipment 10 times. Um, Last thing I want to ask you guys before we hop off here. 1 out of 10, one being like this business was easy to do, and no, one being the heart is the hardest and 10 being it was the easiest. What do you rate this photo booth business being like from a newbie to where you're at, where you guys are making money consistently, you're providing for your families? Where do you think it lands?
Okay. So at first, when I started, I thought it was hard getting leads, right? But that's just because I didn't have the mentorship at the beginning. At least as much as I would have wanted. I didn't have a, and then I came into you like you like took me under your wing and started showing me the ropes and stuff and how to do things. So I think without a mentor, I would have probably said that this was like a 4 out of 10. Like it was hard to get leads and stuff. With mentorship, I would say it's like a 9 out of 10. And why is not a perfect 10 out of 10 is because there's always little bumps that you always come across that, it's nothing's perfect. Nothing's perfect.
Mhm.
So I would say it's pretty easy to make money in this if you have the right mentorship, and if you're not afraid to take chances, like um, and when you take chances, you take them calculated, right? Like if you're gonna drop $200, $300 on ads, you calculate how you're gonna go and navigate those three. Because for me, when I started, $200, $300 dropping in ads in a month,
Yeah.
and or in through 2 or 3 weeks, like that was scary. Like I was like, bro, like I'm not even getting any events. How am I gonna drop $200-$300 more? But as I started navigating how to calculate, and how you taught me, like, hey, like lower, like you don't want someone to hit you up from San Francisco that they want an event. You got to make it more localized. You
Mhm.
want to dial the keywords that people are looking when doesn't make sense to have someone from, I don't know, that's interested in a jumpy castle, and then they're going to hit you up for that. So taking calculated risk is a good thing. So I think 9 out of 10 when you have the good mentorship and the good guidance.
Love it.
I think Hans took the words out of my mouth. That's pretty much kind of what I was gonna say, but like he said it all, man. I 100% agree. In the beginning, it was definitely harder, and then being able to have the mentorship and have the chat in the beginning and meet a lot of people like Hans and Alma and Drew and a lot of people definitely helped me be more confident. And again, just back to what I said before, it definitely helped me start right away because I had a plan to start in September and I started 4 months earlier, and I that's what helped me. Being able to connect with people who do the same thing just like you and love it just as much as you or even more. You know what I mean?
Mhm, mhm.
So, but
100%.
now, obviously it became a lot easier, now, obviously we still have the mentorship, but like, now I'm sitting here helping people with you and with Hans, mentoring others to do this, just how I had it.
Yeah. And I even think Hans saying, it's easy scale 9 if you're doing it with a mentor, and 4 if you don't. And this is a Han saying 4 is a high number, you guys. I think it's even harder because Hans is really tech savvy and like that. So like if you don't have any help at all, zero mentorship, and you're not really good with software and technology, it can be super overwhelming. So yeah, man, I think it's a good point to just say, guys, like find a mentor, and if you can't find a mentor or afford a mentor, just do research, man. Everything that you guys need to know is already on YouTube. All this stuff already exists. You don't have to pay nobody, $4,500 for mentorship or join a secret society. Like, man, all of this stuff is out there. And the biggest teacher is taking L's. Trying to do something and failing is, to me, is where you guys are going to find the most experience and knowledge, man. So that's why today too, I wanted to talk about failures. I didn't want to make this boatable business seem like yeah. So I don't know. But thank you guys for watching the podcast. We appreciate it. And big announcement, we're going to be really aiming to be at PBX next year in Vegas next February. So we got some plans going on for that. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure to follow Tyler and Hans, all that stuff in the description. And we'll see you soon. Take care.